Hey, Steve Gamache here for Chef Knives to Go, and what we've got is another quick look product review video. This one is on the Tojiro DP VG10 Gyuto 180mm knife, the 3 rivet version. There's a few different versions on the site. I think there's a 2 rivet and a 3 rivet. I'm putting the item numbers on these past few rounds so we can differentiate knife to knife, especially when they get a little tricky in this case. This is available as part of a 2-knife and 3-knife set as well, which makes a great gift package for someone. We'll talk a little bit more about that. The core steel in here is VG10 stainless, which Tojiro does in a lot of knives, so they're very good at it. It heat treats around 60 Rockwell on that, and the construction is 3 layers, so they've got a soft stainless cladding on either side of that hard center cutting edge steel. So 3 layers there, and the weight and dimension should be pretty similar from knife to knife. These are again, pretty consistent. So the weight on this one's 122 grams or 4.3 ounces. The edge length is about 183 or about 7.2 inches from the tip to the back of the heel. And then the overall length is about 300 millimeters or 11.8 inches. These are fairly thin knives. They're decently stiff though, even though they're fairly thin, partly due to construction. So I got about 1.7 millimeters towards the back and about 1.5 millimeters thickness towards the middle. And then it's not really a distal taper because that's pretty thin already, but it does taper off. Camera going here, come on. It tapers off to a pretty thin edge, or a tip, should say, and then the edge is pretty thin as well. So these knives are good performers. They're thin knives. They perform well, way beyond their price point. I was quite pleasantly surprised at the performance on these. Not particularly tall. This is 44.2 millimeters at the back of the blade. And the handles, kind of your basic black packawood, which is a stabilized wood product. It's a partial tang, which helps lighten that handle up, so it's not a full tang. You do have a little area there you could consider sealing up with something so you don't get any moisture in there. But partial tang, not the traditional full tang, which helps lighten it up. 3 stainless rivets, again, all stainless construction. The handle's comfortable to use. The knife is not particularly tall, as we mentioned, so from a cutting board clearance standpoint, you can see you're okay as long as you keep your fingers flat and not up like that. If you got really big fingers, you might have an issue with cutting board clearance, but shouldn't be too bad for most people. The pinch grip, this will work pretty well. You've got this rolls right up into the choil there with the handle, and then you can pinch it from there. It's going to be a little handle heavy. We'll get to that in just a second. But so it'll work well for a pinch grip or racket style grip, depending on what you want to do. Balance point, as we just mentioned, is going to be a little handle heavy just because it's a fairly light blade, fairly thin. So my balance point is, right about there. So racket grip should be pretty neutral. Pinch grip, it's going to be a little handle heavy, but not as bad as it would be if it was a full tang construction. Fit and finish on the handle's nicely done. Fit and finish on the blade's pretty nicely done, except for the choil's a little bit sharp. I'll show you that. So here's the blade look to it. You can see vertical machine marks and then what they call a sandblasted type finish to kind of a faux blade road there, but in reality it's just kind of a continuous thinning down towards the edge, and the performance is quite good. Etched kanji and naming on the right side of the blade, and then plain on the left side of the blade. The spine, they've relieved a little bit of the corners of the top here. The choil's a little sharp on the edges. I'm kind of picky about that. Some people are, some people aren't. You could take a thin piece of sandpaper strip and shoe shine that from the back side here and knock that out in about 5 minutes if you wanted to touch that up a little bit and knock off that edge. It'd be easy fix, super easy if you felt like doing that. Let's see here. Out of the box edge, about 5 to 6 out of 10 on my scale, so decently sharp out of the box. Again, pretty thin and good performers, actually quite good, especially for this price point. And here is our edge profile. Nothing particularly stands out here. You've got a little bit of belly towards the back and then a little belly towards the tip, so this will rock really nice. Flows into that well. You got a little back belly there. It's not particularly flat, so you could do a little bit of chopping towards this part here, but it'll do great on push-pull cuts, glide cuts. You could do tip draws with it. Rocks really nice, so I'd say very versatile profile. So this is a high-value line of knives. It's fit and finishes nice. Handle is, nothing fancy, but nice fit and finish on it. It feels good. It's very well done, comfortable. rounded off all the way around. You know, just looks pretty good. Cuts very well, easy to sharpen. It's just a great line of knives. Again, you can get this as part of a 2 or 3 knife gift set, and that will be a nice, I shouldn't say gift set, but a 3 knife package. That would be a really nice gift for somebody, for knives that perform quite well, but not super high dollar. If they're not one of those people that takes care of knives really well, is probably like you do. So anyway, this is the Tojiro DP VG10 Gyuto 180mm knife 3 rivet version from Chef Knives To Go.